of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Anybody who plans to speak today can remain standing so Sherry can swear you in, if you would.
You're going to speak today? If you'll just raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, adoption of minutes from October 8th, 2014. Any additions or deletions?
I have some deletions.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wait, we're on the minutes.
Oh, that's right. We are. We're on the. We're not on the. We're not on the. We're on the minutes. We're not on the agenda yet. Sorry.
Good effort.
I like that. Any changes? Any additions? Any deletions?
I'll move
from the
we
minutes?
adopt the minutes from last month's meeting.
And I will second that motion. Thank you. Okay, now we can go on with the agenda additions or deletions. Officer Ramsey.
Okay, under your agenda, item 4C1A, ABG5 LLC. I'll be pulling that. It's been complied.
Or C.
We're asking about.
And
Oh, that one. Yeah.
C2A, Saeed Mubarak. I'll be pulling that as well.
B.
It would be B.
You think it's B? You said? Yeah.
It's item 4 to B.
Not A. You are. Let me show you. This one's going. Oh, okay. And next page. And that's supposed to be turned off.
Also, under request for notice of assessment, item E, case 14CE5148, estate of Richard W. Adams, James A. Shorner, PA, and JP Morgan Chase Bank. Property isn't compliant, so that's going to move down and be a request for a board order.
Any other additions or deletions? All right. I move that we adopt the agenda as changed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Request for notice of assessment, case number 14-CE-5087, Brenda LaFlame.
This is a request for a notice of assessment for case 14CE5087. The violator, Brenda LaFlamme, was cited for a violation of public nuisance code for excessive storage of outside items, trash, debris at 4215 15th Street, Vero Beach. Service of the citation was provided by posting and is provided on file with the city clerk's office. There's been no request for a hearing on the citation. The violation has not been corrected as of November the 12th, 2014, and the civil penalty assessed on the citation has not been paid. Enforcement costs of $43.09 are requested by the city. An affidavit of those itemized costs has been filed with the board clerk. We request the board authorize issuance of a notice of assessment in the case, plus the cost of enforcement of $43.09.
Okay. Anyone want to make a motion?
Could I ask
Yes, sir.
the officer something? Just for clarification, is this a repeat? Is that why we're at $100?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Is that all, Mr. Commit? Okay. Motion? Okay, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we issue a notice of assessment, and I move that we find the violation as cited on the citation is continuing, and I'll direct the clerk to issue a notice of assessment of continuing penalties imposing the initial civil penalty of $100 assessed on the citation and continuing civil penalties of $100 per day commencing on October 16th. Sorry?
Let me just interrupt
Yes,
you,
sir.
if you don't mind. Now, did you want to request, the code provides for doubling of the repeat penalty.
That's right.
In other words, it would go to $200 per day, if that's what you're requesting.
No, 100 is fine.
Just do the 100. Okay.
Have
So,
you had any contact with these people at all?
I have. They haven't paid for the first violation yet. and they're already on to the second. They did comply at one point, get the yard and everything cleaned up, but they haven't paid for their past monies owed, so it's a continuing problem at this home.
So where do we stand on something like that?
Well, we have,
Just keep accruing money until it gets to a certain point.
I just wanted to clarify, Mr. Chairman, that you could go up to $200 per day, but he's only requesting the $100 per day.
okay. And I'll go along with his request unless somebody has a, Michelle?
Is there, so we have monies due from the last offense, and then now we have this with accruing $100 a day. Is there, so at what point does it, what's that?
Are you,
I'm waiting to the
are you,
city attorney. I don't know at what point they actually place a lien on the property and go after the funds. I don't know how that.
Well, lien exists as soon as the certified copy of the order is recorded, but is this property occupied?
Yes.
Okay, so we're not going to enter the property to clean it up. So just basically the liens are going to continue to exist on the property.
and you may not get those back ever,
They
really.
exist for 20 years, the lien does.
They exist 20 years?
Yep.
Mhm.
Sell the property.
So there's no point in whenever we charge interest or anything to get them to,
Yeah, you can't charge interest on penalties. Only in those cases where the city has actually expended money, like to clean up a property, then we can charge interest.
wow.
Wait till I kill my daughter.
Okay, well, I'm going to continue my motion then. We're going to have the civil penalties.
Let me ask one more question. Well, something else just came to mind.
Sure.
Brenda LaFlame, this is her residence?
Correct.
Okay, so it's probably homestead. That means the liens don't attach to the property anyway. Does not attach to homestead property. That's just the law.
So there's
Can't
nothing.
ever sell it.
But if she sells it, therefore it's basically not going to be homestead anymore at some point. That's when we potentially can collect. Or if she tries to refinance, a bank isn't going to loan her money if
Right.
these liens are out there.
I mean, if somebody wanted to buy the house and there's liens on it, then that's going to become part of the equation whether a house sells or not. So, okay. May I continue?
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So anyway, continuing civil penalties, $100 per day commencing October 16th, 2014, as well as the cost of enforcement of $43.09.
I'll second that.
Thank you, sir. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, case number 14-CE-5128, Acacia Treasure Coast LLC.
Case 14 CE 5128, the violators Acacia Treasure Coast LLC, Errol Adamer and Marie Scher were cited for the violation of weeds, grass, or undergrowth at a height of more than 12 inches throughout the property, and building materials, brick pavers stored on the site without an approved or current building permit at 1110 Royal Palm Boulevard. Service of the citation was provided by certified return receipt. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived and the violation is deemed admitted by the violator. The violation of weeds, grass, or undergrowth was corrected on 10/9/14. The brick pavers are still at the rear of the property. The civil penalty was paid on 11/5. Requesting a notice of assessment for the civil penalty and the cost of enforcement of $32.21.
I'll make a motion that we find the violation as cited on the citation is continuing and direct the clerk to issue a notice of assessment of continuing penalties, imposing the initial civil penalty of $50 assessed on the citation, continuing penalties of $50 per day, commencing on October 8th, 2014, and cost of prosecution of $32.21.
Excuse me for a moment, please. I
You
would
let me
request
finish,
not
so-
to have continuing penalties.
No just the $50?
The property is vacant. The owner of the property would like to demo the property.
Okay.
So I would just like the penalty and the enforcement cost, please.
That would be a final order then.
Okay. Well, it's not in compliance.
Well,
Do we have to do the daily penalty? I guess we do, don't we?
Not, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, that's the next step typically, but you could do a continuing order. I know there was an order finding. I believe you said the grass and weeds were taken care of already.
Correct.
So the board could find that part has been corrected, but the other violations remain and are continuing in order that they be corrected, and only assess the $50 penalty at this point.
It would
It'll
still
be
be a
coming.
notice of assessment, though.
No, it wouldn't be a notice of assessment because you're not going to assess the daily penalty
Okay.
if she doesn't, if she isn't asking for it. You could do it in an order instead.
Your call. The last time that he was in my office, he is moving to resolve the property, and I don't want to just...
And it would be coming back to you again at some point once the other violations are corrected for a final order. And at that,
Scratch all that.
You want to change it to a board order?
Sorry, Kirk.
That's all right. I'll make a motion then that the board issue an order, note that there was a violation for weeds and undergrowth that has now been brought into compliance, and that the violation for improperly stored pavers without a building permit still exists, and that we issue an order for payment of the $50 initial civil penalty and the $32.21 cost prosecution.
Penalty's been paid.
The penalty's been paid?
Yes.
I'm seeing $38.69 on the costs on your affidavit.
My error, $38.69, and the penalty was paid on 11/5.
Okay, so the initial penalty was paid.
I'm sorry.
38.69.
Yes, he paid that on 11/5 with I have a receipt on that came through my
On
office.
Acacia?
Yes.
I don't have a receipt or anything for that.
Oh,
Where did they pay it?
My receipt says it was paid through the utility department.
No.
They probably got a credit on their utility bill.
Yeah, that's not a code.
Oh, because it says code enforcement fines $50. No? I'll meet with you after the meeting and we'll find out.
Why don't, we should just maybe postpone till next month
Yeah.
Sounds like
until we get all our ducks in a row?
Yeah, because if Sherry doesn't have a receipt, we can't assume that it was paid, so.
It was end of day and he probably did pay it through utilities, but I've got a copy of it. I didn't realize it was paid through utilities.
Okay, well,
Pay through the utility.
Well, the only
Does it
thing the
say
board
code
could do
enforcement on
would,
the receipt?
I'm sorry?
It says code enforcement
It
account.
says code enforcement fines $50.
where did you get that?
It was on my desk from the utility department.
Oh, okay. They didn't
It
bother
come
giving
from
it to
our
the clerk, yeah. I mean, the board could still issue an order ordering the remaining violation to be corrected and assessing the $50, noting it's paid. I mean, it's your call.
why don't we just table it till next month? Can we just do that?
I mean, do you have a problem with just tabling it and
Not a bit.
maybe they'll be in compliance with all of it by next month?
That'd
or-
be great.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, new motion then, let's table this case.
So making your motion that you're withdrawing the prior motions.
Yep.
The prior.
Wasn't seconded anyway.
Oh, okay.
Scratch that.
Okay, we didn't have a second, so we'll just carry on. We'll table this case until next month.
Well, that was embarrassing.
Got to take a,
We're good.
okay, great. Sorry? I'm not sure. I don't like going off of the schedule. We'll get there. We'll get there. 14-CE-5135, Jose Gabriel and Margarita Barajas.
This is a request for notice of assessment for case number 14 CE 5135. The violators, Jose Gabriel and Margarita Barajas, was cited for a violation of public nuisance code for excessive exterior storage of items not enclosed at 1956 34th Avenue. Service of the citation was provided by certified return receipt and is on file. There's been no request for a hearing on the citation. The violation has not been corrected as of November 12th, and the civil penalty assessed on the citation has not been paid. Enforcement costs of $48.32 were requested by the city. An affidavit of those itemized costs has been filed with the board clerk. We request the board authorize issuance of a notice of assessment in this case, plus the cost of enforcement of $48.32.
I'll make a motion that we issue a notice of assessment, and I move we find the violation as cited on the citation is continuing and direct the clerk to issue a notice of assessment of continuing penalties imposing the initial civil penalty of $50 assessed on the citation, continuing penalties of $50 per day commencing October 31st, 2014, and cost of enforcement of $48.32. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. May I ask, are you here to speak for a case today?
The reduction.
The reduction? I think that's,
That's the
yeah,
next one.
we'll just wait. We'll get there in just a moment. Thank you.
James Shorner.
Okay. Let's see, we already said. Let's go to case number 14-CE-4902, Esperanza and Robert. Because didn't we? I'm sorry, Sherry. Did we not move the case for the violator estate of Richard W. Adams? Did we not move that down to request for board order?
Yes.
So we can just do that as we took B out. Why don't we just do that one as B?
Okay, we'll put that as item B.
Can we do that? Okay. So to continue, this is case number 14-CE-4902, Esperanza and Robert Ray.
Okay.
Oops.
This case originally came before the board for a notice of assessment. Esperanza and Robert Ray were cited for the violation of a replacement of windows without a permit at 1084 29th Street. The violation was corrected with the permit being obtained on 10/8/14. I believe the board found continuing penalties and enforcement cost. They're here today to request a reduction in the amount of the penalties. It's a piece of property that's for sale. It's not owner occupied. The work was done. They were not aware that a permit was required for the windows. As soon as it was brought to me and a case was initiated, they have worked diligently to obtain the permit and come into compliance. Because they had to hire a contractor who would sign off and certify on the windows, there was a time and expense involved in that, which as soon as they were able to get a contractor who would accept the responsibility of obtaining the permit, a permit was applied for and obtained. So they have done everything they could to work with me once they realized that they were in violation and to correct the violation. So
Okay, and just go ahead, Mrs. Shell.
What is the penalty and what are we up to, the dollar line?
I believe, Sherry, the penalty is $34.50 through 10/8 when the permit was obtained and the property came into compliance.
The total civil penalty would be $3,450, and then costs are $28.36, which
They paid the $50.
Okay, they paid the initial
Yes.
$50, so $3,400 is what would be due on the civil penalties. The cost of $28.36, unless the city is waiving those, you can't really reduce that.
Can't reduce to 3,400?
You cannot reduce it, right?
Not the costs, because they were assessed.
$28.36, right.
We can't reduce.
But the $3,400 is really what's at question.
Over here.
Okay. Is it Mr. Ray?
I'm her son.
Okay.
Just here to help her out because she's.
Okay.
our
Could you
understanding.
tell us a little bit about the situation?
No, I
You-
need your name first.
Yeah, and
Okay.
please state your
Luis
name.
Rea.
Luis Rea, and you were sworn in?
That's correct.
Okay, and for the record, where do you reside?
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, sure. Where do you live? Where do you reside?
I don't live with her. I live separately.
Okay,
So I'm just here to help her out.
okay. Well, go ahead and tell us what you
Okay,
wanted to
well,
say.
yeah, I started off as she never knew she needed a permit because she had to replace a couple of windows at the time because the house was empty. That wasn't done recently. That was done after the hurricanes. But since they never peel off the stickers off I guess they thought it was doing at the time that she was doing some cleaning to sell the house. So the house been up for sale, it's been empty. And then she cleaned the backyard. She had a shed that she torn down, put the debris in the front, and I don't know, I guess they thought that she was remodeling the whole house, which was not. And so she got cited for that. Then she didn't know she was paying $50 a day, and we were out of town. When we came in town, we find out. Well, she tried to find some contractor, licensed contractor. It was hard to find anybody that wanted to do the job or sign up for correct the problem. Well, when we found someone, the person we found never came, never did anything, never told us he wasn't doing it. So until she stopped in and asked whether the problem was taken care of, she found out that it wasn't. Because the person never did anything, never told us that he wasn't doing it. So we had to find somebody else. And then we find somebody else, it was already days gone, money accumulated on the fee. So at the time when she corrected the problem, it's a little too late. So all she's asking is for a reduction if she can in any way.
Officer Sanderson.
Absolutely. She's done everything within her power to work with me. The circumstances of trying to find a contractor, a lot of contractors charge through the nose to come in after the fact and pull the permit.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any idea, either of you, do you have any idea, I'll ask you first, do you have any idea what period of time had passed from the time, let's say, the windows went into finding out that there was a penalty, a violation, and finding a contractor?
Well, he said they put the windows in after the hurricane, right?
Yeah, the windows weren't done recently. That was done after the hurricanes, maybe a year or so after. Because the house was empty, it was getting wet, windows are old, there was a strip
Right.
glass.
It originated as a complaint, as he said. The debris was curbside. The windows do have the stickers on them. It looks like it's new. You know, so a case was initiated. But once she got the letter, she did everything to work with me. And I know that in dialogue that she and I have had extreme financial hardship. She just wants to do the right thing. And
I'm always glad to see people
Clear
show
her
up,
name
too.
out.
Mr. Kamen, are there any limitations to our ability in reducing the fine?
No, this order has not been recorded, so it's still within your authority to reduce the fine, whatever you feel in your discretion.
And she paid the civil penalty promptly.
absolutely.
Okay.
She has worked diligently with me. Every time I've tried to communicate with her, she does what she can. A lot of it just was circumstances beyond her control.
Did you pay money to a contractor to go there?
Correct, $800.
Oh,
Wow.
and then he
Actually,
fixed.
$850, and he wanted them up front before he could do anything.
That's
which
the one
is-
that never showed up, or that's the one?
No,
that
that's
fixed
the
it?
one that fixed the problem.
$800. Wow.
And no other violations at this location?
No,
at this time?
absolutely not. The property's for sale. It's absolutely beautifully maintained. The grass never is overgrown. I mean,
I have a motion.
I'd like to
I'll
hear it, sure.
I'll make a motion that we issue an order for payment of the $50 civil penalty, which has already been paid,
Correct.
and the $28.36 cost of prosecution.
Okay.
And that would actually be amending your prior order.
Oh, okay.
So we would amend the prior order
Right.
in this motion. I want to hear from everyone else. Who's in favor of this motion? Do I have a second?
This is to just eliminate the,
This is to eliminate the penalty altogether,
second it.
Except for the initial $50.
Right.
which has already been paid.
Right.
And the
second.
cost of prosecution still included. You did say that, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
she would owe the $28.36.
$28.36, that's all she'll owe.
The
Right.
city's spent.
Would you settle for $28.36?
Of course.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, do I have a second?
I second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay. Thank you for coming in, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work.
Melanie, let them know.
Excuse me. Let's give her a moment to get back.
We'd never get it anyway. Absolutely.
Thank you.
$800 of contract.
Okay, going back, we're going to review case number 14-CE-5148, estate of Richard W. Adams, James A. Schorner, PA, and J.P. Morgan Chase Bank.
We're going to request a board order for 14 CE 5148. The violators are the estate of Richard W. Adams, James Schorner, personal representative. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank were cited for the violation of weeds, grass, or undergrowth at a height of more than 12 inches throughout the property at 3405 21st Street. Service of the citation was provided by certified return receipt. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived and the violation is deemed admitted by the violator. The violation of weeds, grass, and undergrowth has been corrected as of November 12th. The civil penalty assessed on the citation has not been paid. Requesting the initial civil penalty, continuing penalties, and enforcement cost of $34.83, please.
I'll make a motion.
Can you give me just 1 second?
Sure.
There's never been a notice of assessment.
Right, because the property came into compliance, so we're just asking for a board order.
Right, but when, was it corrected by the correction date?
No, it was corrected today. It was found corrected today prior to the hearing.
Yeah, because typically you don't assess continuing penalties if it's been brought into compliance
You're right, my
before a
error.
notice of assessment.
You're right, my error.
So it'd be $50, right, plus the costs.
Correct.
$50.
Since it's
Period.
now,
Civil
since it's now
penalties.
corrected.
Okay.
He almost got me again.
Yeah, you can still you can still assess the cost since it was not corrected by the correction date given on the citation.
Okay. Mr. Nooney, you want to continue your motion then based on that information?
Okay, I'll make a motion that there was a violation. It's now been brought into compliance as of November the 12th, and that the board issue an order to pay the initial civil penalty of $50 and the cost of prosecution of $34.83.
And I will second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Let's see. Case number 14-CE-4691. This is Satiris, Inc. Oh, this is under the administrative matters. Excuse me.
Yeah, and I can address
sorry.
that. This was a case where it was kind of convoluted as far as the owner of the property. Satiris was a mortgage servicing company, not the actual owner. And we actually already took this to the city council, and they released the lien that had come into being because of us recording the order on the property. And basically, you had also issued a final order finding the correction, which we did not bother recording because the prior order had been recorded, and the council has now released the lien anyway because we just didn't have a good lien on the property. And all I'm asking is just go ahead and withdraw that final order, and Tammy can just, or I'm sorry, Sherry can just close the case administratively.
Okay. Well, then I'll make a motion that we withdraw our final order. This was from our last meeting, wasn't it?
I think, yeah.
The October 8th meeting, 2014. We'll withdraw our order for case number 14-CE-4691, Satiris, Inc. Have a second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
And all opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right. Any other issues before we adjourn?
When we work with citizens and they try to come into compliance and do the right thing, thank you for understanding that and working with them as well.
I think that's great. Thank you.
That's our job.
Appreciate them
That's the
working
job,
with us.
and that's
That's what it's about.
I think Mr. Noonan said some time ago, we're not here to penalize people. We're not here to not rightfully subject them to something that's they've tried to work on. So thank you for saying that. That's good. Any other matters? Nothing? Meeting is adjourned.
Yep.